Hi, hello, Drag Race fans. Welcome into my channel. My name is Jer. The cast for All Stars 9 finally got dropped officially. Who could have ever predicted this cast? If only spoilers hadn't been out for an entire year about who was going to be on here. The one I was surprised about not seeing was Cameron, because every spoiler said that Cameron was going to be here, and I don't remember who the 10th queen was, but it was someone super random out of left field that I was surprised to see on there, but they weren't on here either, and I wish I could remember who they were. All Stars 9 is premiering on May 17th, and call me a hater, but my hype for this season is sort of on a decline, like a really, really steady decline. So we're gonna talk about the cast, and I've got a lot of opinions, I got a lot of thoughts that I would like to share, but let's just kind of talk about All Stars as a concept really quick. I think what makes All Stars really fun is the fact that we get to see our favorites come back. We get to root for them all over again and see who's gonna make it all the way to the end, right? There's a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz, and we get to see people get picked off week after week, sometimes in production shenanigans, sometimes really unfairly, but that makes us root even harder for the one that we want to see at the very end. And when we do a non-elimination style, it lowers the stakes quite a bit. There's no chance of your favorite going anywhere. You just know they might not win or they'll make it to the end. Unlike in another season where, I don't know, maybe Jessica Wilde won't make it to the finale. In All Stars 7 situation, we could just kind of appreciate it for what it was. You know, we could just have a fun time watching drag queens do drag queen stuff. It's like going to a real show, you know? You don't have to worry about your favorite going home. You just get to see them perform and have a good time and share their art with you. And that's really exciting and fun. I'm totally here for doing a non-elimination style season. I'm a big fan of that. What I want to see in a non-elim season is Mario Party rules. Let's go fucking crazy. Let's make them block people from getting wins the next week. Let's do a challenge where they get some type of boo card where they can steal money or stars from their fellow competitors. Let's make a mini challenge where they win like 4 stars that they can divvy up to whoever they want to. And it doesn't all have to be to different people. It could all just be one person is gonna get 4. Let's do crazy rules where there's backstabbing and drama and TV moments. And let's have the most bombastic characters that could ever be on the show beyond that season. That's what I think would make a non-elimination style fun, is because it would be crazy. We would not know what to expect. But when you make it a non-elim style, and there could still be twists coming down the pipe, it doesn't feel as exciting. And then the other thing that has diminished my hype is that this is a charity season. And you know what? Call me a hater all you want. I don't think that this is a good format for a charity. I'm super here for charities. I think they're very important, especially in the queer community, to raise money for a specific voice that really needs to be heard. And I've seen a video talking about all the different Queens charities that they chose, and there's some really great ones that are here that I think absolutely need representation. And if this was a season where every single challenge was like, I don't know, $50,000 is going to that charity, I think maybe I'll be a little more excited, but we just don't have that information yet. And then at the very end, the queen will win money and the charity would win money. I think that would be exciting, but they haven't really announced that. If it's just compete like a normal All-Stars until the end, and then your favorite charity gets 200K, am I the worst person in the world for thinking that could have just been a 2-episode special? Like the Holoslay, you know? It could have just been really simple. I don't think we needed an entire All-Stars for this, you know? It's a classic, this could have been an email instead of asking me to come in the office for a meeting. That's what this season is already feeling like. And I'm trying not to judge it too hard initially, but I just feel less and less hyped every single announcement that gets released. And I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone in this. Just a lot of creators are trying to be positive about it, and love that for them. I also want to be realistic. I'm gonna be watching this week after week. I want to be super excited. And I don't know if I'm feeling that right now. I'm feeling like they said, okay, we got a lot of flack for last season, which All Stars 8 was extremely overproduced, which is why people didn't like it. We got a lot of flack from the queens last season. They all wanted to walk out except for 2 of them. They all wanted to walk out, probably because of production. And so they said, we're gonna mitigate all of those problems by making it a non-elimination season, and then we're gonna try and get some goodwill back from the public and make it a charity season. And I just don't know if all these puzzle pieces connect to make the image that they wanted it to be. All of those thoughts aside, let's jump into the actual cast and talk about them real quick. First up, we got Angeria Paris Van Michaels. And let me just tell you, I am big hyped for Angeria. I wish that she was on a regular season with normal eliminations because I would love to see how she played the game. This outfit is probably going to go down as one of the best promo looks of all time. I'm enjoying the silhouettes that everybody chose. We went superhero angelic for a lot of these looks, and Angeria just turned the party for me. This giant headpiece that she's got, all these exaggerated proportions that I am such a slut for. I love an exaggerated any moment, as long as there's shape to it, and she managed to have all of that shape and all of that volume in such an interesting and beautiful way. These colors complement her skin so flawlessly. Angeria is one of those people that has come out of the show that is oozing in C. This is C. I don't know. I might be mirrored. This just looks like something else. I don't know what that looks like. Angeria could read the phone book. Angeria could paint the walls. Angeria could talk to sea slugs underneath the water with a snorkel. And I would watch her do it because I just think she is dripping with charisma. It comes out of every pore of her body. And she was such good television. There was a reason she made it to the end of her season, and I was rooting for Angeria to win the crown. That didn't happen, but I was still rooting for her to do it. And I think that she's gonna be a great addition to this season, and I hope that they bring her back for a real All-Stars, because I would love to see how she handles eliminations and what her deliberation process would be, because I fully believe that Angeria would 100% be in the top for several challenges. I mean, she's full package. Angeria can do everything, and she's beautiful on top of it. Next, we have got Mick, trans icon, star of season 13, made it all the way to the end for a reason. Mick has one of the coolest visual aesthetics, I think, of a lot of the queens that have come out of the show. I think Mick is just an interesting person, and so I am excited to see them again on another season of All-Stars. Again, I wish that we could have seen what Mick would have done in an elimination style season, because I think that Mick would have been in the top for quite a few challenges, and I think it would have been interesting to see how they voted to send people home. If the rumors are true, Mick has spent a lot of money on this package, and I'm excited to see what it all looks like, especially because we get to see them week after week after week. I think Mick has a lot to prove because season 13 isn't regarded with the most love or kindness. I think a lot of people felt bad about 13. They didn't like the Stanford prison experiment type feel of the intro, of them pitting the A group and the B group queens against each other. People didn't love the challenges or just the general vibe of 13. And unfortunately, Mick kind of gets lost in that sauce, which is disappointing because Mick is a cool contestant and I think would have thrived on 12 or 14. Just 13 was just kind of a bummer season for a lot of people. So I'm excited to see this representation and we'll see how Mick does. Next we have Georges, a RuPaul favorite, one of the few queens who got the You Were Born to Do drag. Some people are saying that her makeup has been trixified, which I think is freaking hilarious. This is a pretty low-key promo, and I do feel like Georges is gonna just be, Georges will be there. I don't think Georges is gonna give us a lot of really excellent television. I don't think Georges is gonna give us a lot of really bombastic moments, but I think that she's gonna be really cute to just watch bop around and do her Georges thing. Yeah, and Georges is here. Next we have Nina West, and I know a lot of people are not thrilled about Nina being here. There's been a lot of conversations about her political standpoints. I don't want to get into all that right now today. What I will say is that Nina was someone who a lot of people were rooting for on her original season. A lot of people think that Nina was robbed. I fully disagree. I think Sugar Cane was robbed. I think Nina shot herself in her kneecaps wearing those terrible Pride outfits. Nina made a lot of really odd choices and decisions in season 11. And I think that Nina was one of those queens that was really hyped for and was predicted to be on so many seasons before the one she actually showed up on. And I don't know if she ever lived up to her hype and to her name in her original season. I'm curious to see if that will be repaired in All Stars 9 and if she's able to fix her sort of brand image with the fans beyond the political scope, where I think people are already looking at her with negativity, and I understand that and I don't want to diminish that in any way. It's just not where I'm wanting to take this content today. You know, I think she's got a lot to live up to, and we'll see if she's able to do any type of repair to her branding and her image, because I think that's what's going to be really important this season for Nina. You need to get your muffler fixed. Next up is Plastique Tiara, another queen from season 11. Plastique had such an odd edit in her original season, and if you're listening to my bi-weekly podcast on Mondays, we are currently in season 11. We are in part 2 of 3. Part 3 is dropping this coming Monday, so if you haven't already checked out my podcast, you should. The links are down below. Plastique started production-wise as a frontrunner, and I fully believe in my whole heart that the production team had a different storyline for what ended up making the final cut, because about midway through the season, they do that Toy Story meme, I don't want to play with you anymore, with Plastique, and she goes from being a front runner, front position, RuPaul's baby, can do absolutely no wrong, to we don't want you here anymore, you can go. And it was such an odd run that she had, and it felt kind of unfair and reductive to her talents. I don't think that her going home was a bad decision. I definitely think that she did quite terribly in LADP. This is one of my favorite looks from the entire promo. I think Plastique looks incredible. The layers of this outfit, especially as it goes down into the mermaid, the way that all of these textiles that don't match are just immaculately placed together to create this beautiful look. This headpiece is next level stunning, and I love seeing stuff like this on Drag Race. I love seeing culture represented so definitively, and I'm so happy to see this here, but I do wish that Plastique was on a regular season. Sorry to keep saying it, but it's true. I think her runway package is gonna be really fun now that she is a more realized queen and is more solid in her branding. I think it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Next up is Roxy Andrews, who's here to make it clear. Look how orange she fucking looks, girl. I'm gonna say that I am a big proponent of bringing All Stars girls back for a second chance. Girls that got a bad, sloppy run their first time in All Stars, girls that got sort of hindered by production or got their careers on Drag Race tanked by production, queens that got disrespected by the edit or by the challenges. I would be super here for queens like Tatiana and Georgie, Coco, Nina Flowers, early outs. Like, I think of queens like Ginger Minge. Ginger's a really good example of that, because Ginger didn't do bad in the Rusical. Ginger's runway was not good, but Ginger didn't do bad. There were people that were worse than her. And Ginger, wrongfully, in my opinion, went home. I don't think that Katya should have gone home either. My unpopular opinion is very unpopular, and I'm not even gonna share it because y'all are gonna be pissed at me. So when Ginger came back for All-Star 6, it felt fine to me, and I think it felt fine to a lot of other people, because she didn't get a good run. She went to top 3 in her original season and then went home 3rd in a challenge that I just don't think that she should have gone home on. And I think a lot of people agree. So bringing someone back who got a bad run in All-Stars is fine. Roxy went to top 3 her original season and then went to top 4 in All-Stars. And it sort of feels to me like, well, we didn't crown her, so we gotta crown her this time. And nothing bothers me more than when they bring someone back who they clearly really wanted to win the first time, only to get a very clear, solid run all the way to the very end. And I think we see that in All-Stars 1, in All-Stars 2, and in All-Stars 4, in my opinion. And that's what this feels like. If Roxy doesn't win, I have a feeling she's gonna make it to top 2, because why would you bring back a top 4 contestant again if you don't intend for them to win? to me, it feels like, well, we want to make sure you win this time, and we're going to make it non-elim, so you've got even more chances, and nobody can say that you got Roxy Andrews to the end. That you made it fair and square because there was no possibility of you going home. This is no shade to Roxy, and I don't want it to seem like I am taking a big old dumperoni on her, because I do really like Roxy, and I think her growth from season 5 to All-Stars 2 needs to be studied for an All-Stars, because she really had a lot of that charismatic growth that we really want to see in our All-Stars queens. Her runway package was not the best, but it also wasn't the worst. But also those runway prompts were just kind of blah. They were not good. And so I'm excited to see what Roxy can do in a season where maybe prompts will be better, because we've been in an era of Drag Race where we're getting better runway prompts. So I'm excited to see what she does. I'm excited to see how much she's changed from All-Stars 2. If we were gonna get someone from All-Stars 2, I would have loved to have seen someone like Tatiana, even Adore, or Coco. Especially Coco. I think Coco deserved an opportunity probably more than anybody that's been in All-Stars so far, because she really was shafted very hard by production with not being allowed to do her Janet number literally days before the episode. Next up is Chanel from season 1 and All-Stars 1. And let me just say, I'm so jazzed that Chanel is getting another chance to come back, because I think that all of the All-Stars 1 contestants deserve a second chance in the same way that Jujubee did. And All-Stars 1 is my only time where I would change my mind about the top 4 coming back situation, because All-Stars 1 was such an unfair situation, pairing up those queens with such little notice. Their runway packages did not match up with each other. Some of their personalities didn't mesh, which is why it was so nice to see people like Pandora and Yarlexis and Juju come back. I'm so jazzed that Chanel gets another chance, because Chanel was a fire starter in her original season, and she continued that energy into All-Stars. This is such a good look right here. But this one is one of the more interesting to me, this sort of sarlacc pit in this sort of ocean blue with this really rich looking gold teeth at the bottom. I like all the visual interest that's here. It looks sharp. It looks dangerous. And I think that is so cool that Chanel was able to capture, with whoever designer that she worked with, to capture a sort of prickliness that translated so well, because that could look costumey and it doesn't look costumey to me. It looks very high fashion. It looks very couture. It looks extremely creative. And I think this is one of the coolest promos. This whole actual set of promos is probably some of the best that we've had for an All-Stars. Since All-Stars 4, that ice was one of the coolest, I think, probably top tier of presentational. Chanel deserves another opportunity because, yeah, she was sort of carried by Chad a lot in All-Stars 1. And there were times where she carried Chad. There were moments that felt overproduced and unfair, and I think it's high time that she gets a redemption from that season, because even though it happened, it kind of didn't happen at the same time. It was 5 episodes and they were all really overproduced, and I think it's good that Chanel has another chance to come back. I'm excited to see what her looks are gonna be. I think it's good to see some early season representation, because those girls were not afraid to do drag. There's a big distinction between early Drag Race, where you're getting girls that have been born and raised in the nightclub. They are doing drag for a mic to entertain an audience and a crowd. They are there to be fire starters and to just bring the drama, because that's what you do in a nightclub. That's how you stay entertaining and engaging. Where a lot of the newer queens are children of the show. They were raised on RuPaul's Drag Race, so their presentation is totally different. The way they conduct themselves, the way they speak is different than those early season girls. And I'm so glad to see Chanel here, because I think she represents just enough of the old school and has her finger still on the pulse of what's current and modern, and is going to be able to blend both of those things well in a way that I think Ru will really respond to. And I am very much rooting for Chanel to make it to top 4. Whatever that scenario ends up looking like, and I'm assuming it's probably gonna be a lot like All-Star 7, where there's gonna be a top 4, and then if she already had hers this group, a lip sync for the crown, and then one of them's gonna win. Finally, we have Miss Vanjie, who I'm super jazzed about. I really wish that Vanjie was in an elimination season because, I mean, Vanjie's crazy. Watching Drag Me to Dinner with Alexis and Vanjie together was mayhem. Chaos, madness, confusion, and just shenanigans. I'm so excited to see what Vanjie does this time around because she's gonna be even more unhinged. Her run in 11, which I'm just now realizing we have 3 11 girls. That's crazy. Her run in 11 was a little bit of a bomb, in my opinion. I feel like Vanjie got that edit of you don't do drag the way that we want you to do it, and I hate that edit a lot. There have been queens like Jiggly and Coco, Vanjie, Selena as titties. They're never doing it the way that the judges want to see it. It doesn't matter how much growth they show on the runway. It doesn't matter how much growth they show in confessionals or in the show. It's just never enough. They always seem to not be doing it the way that Rue and Michelle want to see it. And Vanjie got that edit, unfortunately. And it was so disappointing to see because Vanjie has this huge legacy behind her. And I don't think that she was as much of a flop as they tried to make her seem through her whole season. There were always people that were worse than Vanjie. And yet Vanjie got the brunt of a lot of these punches. I'm really excited for her to come back because I know that she's gonna be good TV. And of this cast, I'm relying on her to be our confessional queen, to be our meme queen. I am fully prepared for Vanjie to overtake the show with charisma. Much like Angeria, Vanjie is oozing in C. I think that it'll be fun to see her again. And in a cast where there's some very clear charismatic frontrunners, and then there's some others who I think are gonna struggle to be interesting. Not to say that the rest of the cast is blah. I don't know if they're gonna be 8+ episodes interesting, because I can only imagine this is gonna be an 8 to 10 series, not a 5-episode mini season, as it probably should be. I, again, would even be happy if this was only a 2-episode special, especially considering that it's all for charity. Who are you rooting for? Who do you think is gonna make it to the very end and win the whole thing? And I'm not asking you for what you read in spoilers because I don't care about those. Don't be coming in here and being like, well, spoilers saying that this person lip syncs against us. Shut up. No, nobody cares. Nobody asked you. Who do you want to win? For me, it's gonna be between Angeria and, I'm sorry to say it, I want Vanjie to win. I'm also super here for Chanel getting a really great redemption arc and going all the way to the end, but I want Angeria to win the whole enchilada. That's who I'm hitching my cart to, and I'm hoping that she takes me all the way to the end. Thank you for watching, and I'll be covering this season over the coming months, however long it takes for this season to go. If you enjoy Drag Race content, check out some of my other playlists. And if you like gaming content, I am the bitch for you because I make a lot of gaming content. See you on the flip. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to click that like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Goodbye.